My name is Ryan and I'm in recovery. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I am 38 years old in recovery from cocaine addiction. I think like most people, my using started off as a kind of social thing, but over the years, over kind of like, I guess I started when I was a teenager, so over 20 odd years, it grew and grew, became a really kind of big problem for me I kept a secret from everyone around me, but it all kind of came to a head earlier this year and I went to rehab. And I've been documenting my recovery journey since leaving rehab. The subject I wanted to talk about today is paranoia and hallucinations caused from my using. There was someone that actually inboxed me and kind of just said, "Oh, I get these like auditory and hallucinations and paranoia. Is it?" And was kind of asking me if I've experienced similar, and it got me thinking about that sort of stuff. And yeah, I I don't know how many people know it, but like cocaine can cause like really vivid visual hallucinations as well as a lot of auditory stuff, and yeah, paranoia is obviously a really a common side effect of heavy using. I've mentioned in previous videos that I would often close the doors, lock my door, and kind of close the blinds, turn the lights down, and kind of sit in silence while I used. And the main reason for that was the paranoia. It was that I was scared about people being able to hear me, even though I'm just sat in my flat. I was scared about people being able to see me. I would I've got them kind of shutter blinds that you twist to like, open or close. I would twist them to close them, but then be like convinced that they weren't closed enough, and people could still see in. Bear in mind, my flat isn't like, you can't look into it from the street or anything like that, so I don't even know if you could see in if the blinds were open. But you know, in my paranoid high state, I would get convinced that people were like looking in from somewhere, and there was one particularly sketchy time where I actually got like a kind of bed sheet and nailed it over the window and had it hanging down so that it was blocking out some of the light and any prying eyes, mental behaviour. And yeah, I'd go around and like seal the flat. I'd check every window was locked over and over again. I'd put towels I'd close the door of the room I was in and like put a towel under the gap in the bottom of the door, like just kind of seal it. I'd put like obstacles in front of my front door, so thinking that if someone tries to break in, I'll be able to hear them because they'll like hit the obstacles, even though the door was like double locked already. And why would anyone be breaking in at that time anyway? I also live in a flat that has like a concierge entrance, so you know, and cameras and blah blah blah. So it's a pretty secure place. After heavy sessions of using, I'd get into bed and then be convinced that I can hear people breaking in and constantly be getting up and going to check all the windows and checking the front door and like listening with my ear pressed against the front door because I thought I could hear people talking on the other side, peering through the little hole thing that you get on your front door. Just all sorts of madness. Just drive yourself crazy with it. And yeah, the auditory hallucinations as well. I mean, the thing to say is that like, and I guess it's the same for everyone, is when I was high I get so sensitive to noise, which is why I'd have to sit in the silence. Like even music would like make me jump and stress me out. Like a kick drum would kick in and I'd be like, ugh, and like jump. But like neighbours moving, people, I live in a flat, so people above me moving about would put me on edge, make me jump, make me convinced that they were going to come and knock on the door or try and break in. My neighbours next door, we've got like a wall that we share, and I'm sure like the sort of noises they would make would sound really loud and crazy to me when I was high, but I'm pretty sure when I'm sober they're just noises I don't even notice. You become so alert and sensitive. In terms of like visual hallucinations, I've had loads, but the two that stand out, there was like one time when I was living in London and I had a flat and I used to chain my bike up outside like to a metal railing. Anyone who's had a bike in London knows that they get stolen a lot, so I had a D-lock and then another big chain that I kind of wrapped all around it and wrapped in amongst the railings to make it like so that you couldn't really steal any part of the bike basically. There's one time where I was kind of deep in a session of using by myself and I was kind of paranoid that people were looking. This time I was like actually I think I was on like the second floor, but I was paranoid that people were going to try and get in, so I was looking and I thought I could hear voices, so I was looking through the blinds, and when I was looking through the blinds I looked across the road and I could see a group of people with like saws and tools breaking through the locks on my bike and stealing my bike, and then I saw them break through the locks and actually steal the bike and cycle away, but I was too like paranoid and high to go outside and deal with it. But the next morning when I'd sobered up and slept a bit, I looked out the window and my bike was still there. I then went and checked and the locks were fine. They hadn't been touched, hadn't been tampered with. So I must have just hallucinated the whole thing, which is bonkers. Another more kind of like abstract hallucination I had that I really remember because it really shook me is I think I was sitting upright in bed with the lights off, taking lines, and as I was sitting upright, this kind of like circle appeared, like a blue light, like a neon light just went zzz, and appeared like a circle like that. Kind of looked like something out of space. It didn't look from this world. It was strange looking, and I was kind of like looking at it from the side and the front and was like, what the hell is that? I don't know if you've seen the episode of Blue Planet when they go down deep down into the ocean, into like the abyss, and there's all these like mad fish that are glowing and have tentacles that shoot out light and stuff like that. One of those sort of looking things then just jumped through the hoop like towards me, and I was like, oh, and I jumped backwards, and then it just disappeared and it was gone. But it felt so real to me that it really shook me. I was like freaking out afterwards. I was like, what was that? To this day, I guess it's just my brain playing tricks on me, but again, it was so real and so vivid that it really unsettled me. And yeah, it's just like I think about a lot of these things, and it's just so bleak and so dark. You get yourself into really bad states. And when I'm heavy using like day to day, your brain kind of never really recovers. Like I remember watching like a slide in rehab where they were showing like stills of like heat map. It kind of almost looked like a heat map, like a brain scan, and it was showing the like damage it's done to your brain and how long it takes to recover and all this kind of stuff. And it kind of makes you realise just how much you're affecting your brain and your kind of like dopamine receptors and all this kind of stuff. You can fully heal from it, but it does take a long time if you've been a heavy user. So yeah, just a little thing I thought I would share.